Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I teased this in a couple of recent videos. Today we have a new painting video. It's a pretty ambitious paint job. This is a new body for my Losi LMT. A long time ago, after I finished that Monster Energy body for the SMT10, I ran across some images for this Turbulence monster truck and I really liked the look of it. I've been wanting to do a paint job like this. It's been intimidating me for a couple of years now, honestly, but I'm finally ready to try it out. I got the body all masked up, got the design laid out all on the side, and I cut out all of the masks. I know I've done a couple of pretty intricate paint jobs before, but never anything like this with lettering. The lettering I've done on the Monster Energy truck was all decals. I custom cut decals and laid them on there, so it wasn't anything I hand cut. All of this is completely hand cut. I printed out some templates that I now have pretty cut up to mirror it to the other side. But using these templates, I was able to stick them on the inside of the body and trace out the graphics as well as the lettering on the outside, and then go back and cut everything out. It's taken me a little while to try to figure out how to do this paint job. There's a couple of things in there that we'll get to in a little bit that aren't just straight spraying a color and done with. But the one thing I did know I wasn't gonna mess up on this one. We're starting with black this time. I'm gonna start with my darkest color and work to my lightest. So most of the solid lettering is black, so I have all of that peeled out. I have the panel lines peeled out, as well as a little bit around the eye here and the exhaust ports. These are gonna be kind of interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. So for now, to start off, I'm gonna load some black in the airbrush and we're gonna get to spraying. So now comes the fun part. This is probably the part I've been worried about the most on this paint job, and it's these exhaust ports here. I know you probably can't see them on the body there, so I have my cutout here that I used to trace it. Ideally, this wouldn't be too bad. I mean, I have them traced out and cut out, and you wouldn't think it would be too bad, but you can see they have highlights here on the top of each one, like where the sun would be hitting down, hitting the pipe. And I want that effect. I want to be able to see that highlight there and the shadow underneath. Normally airbrushing this, I'd spray all of that black and come back and airbrush the highlights in white. But on an RC body where we're painting from the inside, we have to do our highlights first. The other thing is I can't just peel all of those pipes up and put the highlights in, because then some of those highlights would bleed into where the other pipes are and it wouldn't look right. So thinking about it for a good while now, I'm gonna start in the back. I'm gonna peel one up in the back, do the highlight, then peel the next one up, do the highlight, and so on, all the way up to the front. That way, it should give me a hard line if I have any overspray where the other pipe crosses over. After I get all that white sprayed, I'm gonna come back and back it with black again, and it should give us this effect that I'm going for. The other thing I'm gonna do to make sure I get it nice and precise like I want is I'm gonna use a different airbrush. This is my Badger Spirit airbrush. I've done a lot of airbrushing in the past, even before I got into RC, and I use this airbrush a lot for fine detail. It's kind of considered cheating to some in a way, but I have this adjustment knob on the back here that allows the airbrush to travel all the way back for full paint flow, or I can tighten it in and I can't pull it back as far, so I can't use as much paint. This helps me to limit the amount of paint I put down and get more precise lines. So I'm gonna try to get you in close here to see what I'm doing. I didn't want to try to talk through it while I was doing it. I wanted to run you through it before, and we'll see what we can do. All of the black on the body is done now. I'm not sure how those exhaust pipes are looking. Guess we'll just have to see when we're all done. Got some blue loaded in the airbrush now. We're gonna go ahead and paint around those stars. Okay, so the blue is all sprayed now. That was really quick. You can see I got my next color peeled already. The next color is gonna be the red. This took a whole lot of time to peel out all of these really tight curves, making sure not to peel up anything that didn't need to come up just yet. and also making sure I didn't forget anything. I know it's pretty tough to see, but on my stencil I used here, you can see there's a little highlight on the edge of the letters here on top of the red. And ideally you'd probably paint this normally with an airbrush if you were painting on the outside. It's gonna be really hard for me to get detailed like that with the airbrush, but I still wanna add that detail. I'm gonna go ahead and use a paintbrush and just very, very lightly put those streaks in there, those highlights in there, and then come back with the red, spray on the red, and move on. I went with 4 coats of the red. I really wanted that to be vibrant and really pop. We'll come back and back that with some white later, and that'll really bring out the red. Now we're gonna move on to something a little more plain. I'm gonna go and do the yellow on the back end here. You can see on my printout that it's kind of a normal yellow. I'm actually gonna use the fluorescent yellow, mainly because this is all I have. Also, I think it'll bring out some color and make it pop really nicely. One other thing, if you look at some pictures of this truck online, the yellow actually stops about where the tailgate is. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna wrap the yellow all the way around the backside. I just want that color to flow all the way through there. In the pictures, this is gray, like the sheet metal look, like the rest of the truck. And I find there's just not enough color back here. It looks kind of funny when it stops yellow here and then it's gray the rest of the way, or silver the rest of the way. I'm gonna wrap the yellow all the way around from this stripe to this stripe. The whole back end will be yellow. It's pretty straightforward. It's just one big panel. Let's get that sprayed. Here we go, we get into the big panels now. You can see I got the majority of the masking peeled off. This is gonna be the silver, the brushed aluminum or sheet metal look. Something I did off camera, you can kind of see I have a shadow underneath all of the lettering on both sides. I did that using the transparent black, just like I normally use to do window tint. Just lightly fogged it in and we're good to go. One thing I need to do before I spray that silver though, and I didn't cover it when I did the yellow, is I need to put all these rivets in. Just like with the highlights and the lettering and on the exhaust pipes, normally this would be done after the fact, but because this is being painted from the inside, it needs to be done before. This is also way too tiny and detailed for me to try to go through and do with the airbrush, and it'll be a whole lot easier for me to just use a paintbrush and put a bunch of little dots on the inside, let that dry, and then spray the silver over top. I got a whole bunch of little dots to paint. It'll be very tedious. Let's get that done with. All right, we really see it starting to take shape now. You can see I got the silver on. I put 4 coats of silver on. It's a pretty light color, so I wanted to make sure I really got a lot of color in there. Now to make it pop, we're gonna back it with white. While we do that, we got a couple of parts that have to be painted white. The teeth, the eye, the stars here and here. White will be our last color we'll see. I'm gonna back the entire body with white. And after probably a good 4 coats of white, I'm gonna back it all again with black. I'm actually gonna back it with some spray can black. Found with these Proline airbrush paints, they stick to the body a whole lot better if you back it with some polycarbonate spray paint after. So yeah, we'll spray some white on there, tie it all together with some black, and then we'll get it mounted on the truck. Did you think we were finished that fast? Nope. These wheels and tires aren't gonna match that new body. So I picked up a set of J Concept Goodyear tires, the Renegade wheels, and we got some red bead lock rings. ought to finish this off really nicely. To slab these on, I gotta change out the hexes on this truck. Picked up Losi's 12mm adapter kit. I'm gonna slab those on, figure out which hub I need on the J-Concept wheels to get the track width correct. We'll get these mounted on, mount that body on, and then we'll be done. And with that, I got everything mounted on, the body's on, the truck's looking great. I decided to leave the part about mounting these wheels out of this video because I had to modify them a little bit to get them to work. I'm sure anybody else that's looked at mounting these tribute wheels to the LMT have found the Freestyle RC hex adapters. They were currently out of stock as I'm making this video, so I went ahead and found a way to get them mounted with the included adapters. If anyone's more interested in how I did that, make sure to let me know in the comments, and I'll make a video specifically on mounting these wheels and tires to this truck. But overall, I love the look of the truck now. It's totally unique and custom. The wheelbase of the body is a little short for the truck, but it does work. I'm really happy with the amount of detail I got in the body. Like I said, this is my first time doing lettering by hand like this, and I think it came out pretty well. Even those exhaust ports didn't come out too bad, even though that was a little experiment. Let me know what you think of this paint job and the new look on my Losi LMT in the comments down below. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos on this truck. As with all my painting videos, you know what's next. It's time to get this thing out there and try not to scratch it up too much. But anyway, as always, thanks again for watching. Peace.